With so much software available in the short-term rental industry these days, it's increasingly difficult to keep up to date with what's on the market and to determine whether it's a maybe or a must-have for you and your business. So meet one provider each week in a short interview, learning what they do and what they offer. So if you have around 15 minutes to spare, it could prove to be a very good investment to stick around. So let's see who and what is out there, one by one, with me, Deborah Larby, also known as the Guest Inspector. Hello everyone and welcome back to Techsplained with the Guest Inspector. Well, we all know how frustrating it is to have free dates here and there in between bookings in the coming weeks. And we all know how difficult it is to get last minute bookings to fill those dates. The hotels and airlines have lastminute.com, but what does the vacation rental industry have? Today, I'm chatting with Alex from Whimstay, who's going to answer that exact question for us. Hello, Alex. How are you?
Hey, Deborah. How are you? I'm fabulous. Thank you very much.
That's good. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. We've had a little chat prior to this, and I've had a nice time talking to you. So
yes,
I'm excited.
So far. Here we go. We're going to launch straight into it.
Let's get after it.
Yeah, I usually ask for an elevator pitch, but I'm just going to ask, what does Whimstay do in one sentence? You can
we help property managers sell their unsold nights last minute.
Excellent. Okay.
Boom.
So can you break it down step by step? I'm a property manager. I'm approaching Whimstay. What does it all mean to me? What do I do?
So what we do is we connect through PMS and channel managers. So first things first, there has to be an integration possibility. And we're on a lot of PMS and channel managers. So chances are you are. And what happens is you flip us on. And when you flip us on your PMS or channel manager, we'll pull everything, taxes, fees, calendar, all that good stuff, calendar being the important part. And then any of your properties that have availability within our short-term window, they'll show up in the app or on the web. And if it's not available, obviously, it just doesn't show up. Our process is super simple. Have a conversation with our sales team. We'll negotiate a last-minute discount. Then we push you over to the account manager, and it's about a 20-minute onboard total, where you'll collect banking information, set that discount, contact, get an idea of what your host portal looks like and how to use it. Super simple. And then that's it. And then we send you a test reservation, take you live.
So it is a listing site. And
yes, it is.
You pull all the photos, you pull a description, you pull a reduced rate for the last minute stays, and then people book on your website.
That's correct.
On the app.
That's right.
Okay, so then what's the process? See, the thing is then for the property manager, do they use their cancellation policy? Do they get the guest information? Do they have access to it? How does this work?
Yeah, so what we have decided is we want to be a channel that is more of a traveler acquisition channel, right? So what we do is we send all traveler information unencrypted. And so the idea for us is, look, so we have a very low commission. It's 3%, right? And we'll generally start with 0 fee for 3 months to try us out, but it's a 3% fee. And we just assume that's the cost of acquisition, right? So once the traveler books, we will send you obviously the indication to the PMS or the channel manager, and then we'll send you an email with all the traveler's information unencrypted. At that time, you just start your traveler process, whatever that communication is. Since we're a last minute site, all sales are final. So there are no cancellations on the traveler side. We have a couple of caveats. If the property manager has, their age, like say they have an age restriction and the traveler doesn't meet the age restriction, obviously, then we'll call the traveler and say, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. But the traveler can't if the traveler decides to cancel, c'est la vie, as they say in these.
Yes. So the thing is, so you're the merchant of record.
We are.
And then the payment goes to the property manager when?
24 hours after check-in.
Right. Okay. Very good. And so then the property manager gets all the details and they run with it according to how they run a regular booking.
If you've got an agreement to send out, you send out the agreement, right? I mean, the only caveat we ever have, and it's not really an issue, is that a lot of times a property manager will have a cancellation policy within their agreement, right? And since we're a no cancellation, policy, then sometimes we ask, hey, if you can amend it just as a Whimstay one to say there is no cancellation, that would be great, right? Unless you choose you want to send it out that way, it's up to you. But I would assume that the property manager generally will like the no cancellation policy.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty handy. So
It
your
is.
unique selling point is that it's last minute. So
Yeah.
what's the window of dates that you actually do sell?
Good question. 21 days.
Is that changeable? If
Yes.
oh, right.
Yes.
So if I say
So
I want to sell 7 days in advance.
So it's tierable is the way that we do it, right? And we can set it up into 2 tiers. And so it's a 21-day window. Let's just say that you're not crazy about how the 21 days, let's say 21 days is a little bit far out, is a little bit not last minute for you, right? You could do day 21 to day 11, a small, tiny 5% discount. And then day 10 to day 0, a 20% discount or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep, right. And really the way Whimstay works then, a property does have to be instant book.
Yes, it is instant book.
It's instant book.
It is instant book.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
And why use your product? What are the benefits?
From the property manager's perspective, any expiring inventory is lost revenue. End of story. That's it, right? And if inventory is expiring, if it's dying on the vine, you're just losing money. So for us, we feel like it's found money a little bit. We have a low commission, these are properties that probably aren't going to be sold anyways. This is found money. So it's going to raise occupancy. It's going to raise revenue. Feels like a win.
Yeah. And who are your travelers? What sort of demographics are your travelers?
We thought very early on. So here we've gone through this thing where we thought, okay, well, this is going to be for Gen. I get the gens mixed up. I think Y or Z or something.
Yeah.
I'm X, but I'm an old man. But I think Gen X or Gen Z, we kind of thought, which is that sort of 29, 30-year-old sort of range. And we thought, well, this will be our sweet spot. Well, early, it wasn't. It was families. This was sort of a little post-COVID, so we were getting tons of healthcare workers. We were getting, a lot of families, which to us was a bit of a shock, right? And then we saw a ton of retirees as well. And my assumption is they've got maybe some income and they can use it and not a lot going on. And so they can choose to take a last minute trip. So we saw a lot of that. And then recently, as we started to get ourselves known a little bit more, we have seen a lot of the nomadic, the digital nomad, if you're familiar with this sort of new phenomenon within the work sphere.
I've been doing it for 10 years. Yeah.
There you go. And so we're seeing a lot of them, which is great, right? And so those are good tenants because they tend to re-up a lot and they tend to go back as a direct, right? So they'll book through us for 7-10 days and then say, I want to stick around, and then go direct.
That's an interesting question, interesting point. So let's say I have a 21-day window, and let's say I've got something booked in for the next week, and someone looks at that second week and books for a month. Is there a limit as to how long someone can book through Whimstay for the upcoming time?
Yes. So yes and no. So the 21-day window that we talk about, that's the discounted window. Yeah. Now you can actually extend the window up to 90 days, but once you extend from day 21 on, there's no more discount. Oh,
okay, good.
Yeah. But generally what we do is if we get a booking from someone and then they either, if they don't go to our app to re-up and they call us and say, we want to re-up, we'll always direct them to the property manager, always.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice of you. It's
goodwill, I mean, look, property managers are the supply side of any channel in OTA business. It's the supply side. Yeah. That's why, and I don't know if I should be saying this, but when Airbnb had these, what I would call relatively liberal refund policies during COVID, it's like it looked at supply in the face and said, we don't really care that much about you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I thought that was, I don't know. I thought that was insane. I mean, my job is head of growth, right? So my job is the supply. I talk to property managers every single day of my life. And so maybe I'm a little bit more protective over them. But to me, I thought, my Lord, I mean, what the hell?
Well, this is actually why I called you a listing site, because it's almost like the word OTA or the letters OTA are dirty. And, it seems that you're actually looking after the supply. So this is not a very a common occurrence in this industry. So that's really great.
It's an important part of your business model. I'm not
Yes.
100% sure why everyone isn't if they're not, but I don't know.
Yeah. So in terms of your target audience, it's basically any property manager from one property onwards, correct?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Any property manager that doesn't like expiring inventory.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah.
End of story. And we are currently only in the United States. We've got Canada is opening up in the next month, and Mexico as well. And then we're in Europe probably maybe in the next 3 to 6 months.
Great to know that. So in terms of the pricing, it doesn't cost to join. It's just the 3% commission for the booking.
That's it.
Excellent. Now, one thing I wanted to ask a bit earlier, in terms of the calendars and in terms of double bookings, how often does your calendar refresh against the PMSs?
In real time.
Oh, excellent. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a full integration with the PMS, and because of our very specific value proposition, it has to be that way. It has to. So we have to do full integrations. We can't really mess around with that. We can't do iCal. We can't do any of that stuff because there's just too much possibility for a total shit show. I apologize. I just swore on your Techsplained. I don't know if that's allowed, but
I'm not editing. I can't even beep it.
Oh, good Lord.
No, that's all fine. So the thing is, there's no contract. You could just sign up, get your property listed, and you can take it off whenever you wish.
That's right.
It's really like, easy money. Get it on there and, fill in the
We like to make it be like this. We'd like to make it say this is kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's always my victory. If I talk to a property manager and says, why shouldn't I do this? I'm like, I guess I did my job. I mean, I explain, and when they come back with a question, I beat myself up. I'm like, I obviously didn't explain this well because this is like a no-brainer to me. But
yeah.
Again, I have
list and only 3%.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. Is there anything else that I've forgotten?
I don't think so.
Well, you've sold me. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else.
That's all I ever wanted, Deborah, is just to sell you. That's it. That's it. Well, no, I'm glad the garbage collector was coming. I don't know if we heard him or not. I thought to myself, we're going to be at 7 a.m. We're going to get a racket outside, but I think we skated by.
Yeah. I didn't hear a thing.
Great.
Really. It's
Great.
all good.
So then it's all good.
I can even smell the coffee. If anyone has any questions for Alex, you can pop them in the comments below. I'll put the links for Whimstay and for the guest inspector in the description below. Alex, it has been a pleasure chatting with you.
The pleasure's been absolutely mine. This was a lot of fun.
It was. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.